And we are back, and we just finished watching In the Heat of the Night from 1967, directed by Norman Jewison. This is a adaptation of a novel by John Ball. The screenplay was by Stirling Silliphant and tells the story of a Pennsylvania lawman who is wrongly accused and brought to jail for a murder he didn't commit. He happens to be a policeman and is then roped into, I guess, helping with this murder investigation in a small southern town in Sparta, Mississippi. I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. Olive G, what did you think of this movie? You can be honest. Go ahead. You didn't like it?
Not really.
No, why?
I guess not enough action for me.
Okay. There is a lot of talking in this, but I also want to caveat this by saying you really didn't give this movie a chance. I think if you had paid attention, you might have enjoyed this a lot more. But you got it in your head that you just didn't want to see it, and you got up.
For someone that didn't want to see it and occasionally, obviously, wasn't paying much attention, getting a meh is actually pretty good.
You're right. Did you find anything about this movie enjoyable? Did you like any of the characters?
No.
Okay.
Did you enjoy the fact that you were correct in your assessment of who the killer was?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to say kudos to Olive G for figuring out who the murderer was.
When I heard him say something about him being kind of shot almost, he was hit in the head at a very fast speed, I was just like, oh my God, it's him, because he was the one who was hitting flies with that rubber band.
Is that how you put it together?
That was a little,
Wow.
I could see it. That guy liked killing stuff. He was getting so much joy out of killing those flies.
Wow.
He enjoyed being mean. And those little character traits you could see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are some murderous character traits.
I wouldn't have put that together.
I didn't get it either. I mean, I've seen that actor, and I know he always plays a bad guy psycho killer.
Yeah.
So part of me was like, oh, that's that guy who always plays killers. But when I was watching it, it never really dawned on me until sort of way later in the movie.
So I feel like I've seen this movie in bits and pieces. I've never seen it from start to finish. So I remember seeing the ending before, but I didn't remember that. And then I didn't put any of that together. So I think it's interesting that your kid is like Vincent D'Onofrio on that SVU. She picked it up from the very start.
Yeah.
Just based on...
You're a better detective than the Sparta Police Force.
Can we talk about the Sparta Police Force? Well, my goodness.
G, how did you feel? What did you think of the movie?
I thought it was interesting.
You thought it was interesting? What about it?
Just the fact of how different everything was back then. How stupid people were.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are still stupid, honey. But they're just less obvious about it, I guess.
Yeah.
It was... What's the word I'm looking for? It's almost shocking, right? How... horribly and just blatantly racist people were.
We're going to kill him just for being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were infuriated that this black dude was there. And even right from the get-go, it was the murder happens and then
that goofy police guy.
Gillespie is just go look around for people at the pool hall and the bus stops or whatever. And the guy sees, oh my God, there's a black man in the train station
waiting.
Get your hands up.
Exactly.
No questioning, hey,
nothing.
what are you doing here?
Right.
Where are you going? Where are you heading? Just
Where
get up against the wall, boy. See, it was like their favorite word.
Yeah.
And all right, you're coming with me. And I don't think he even asked him a single question other than just come along with me.
No police procedures.
Yeah.
None.
And he was so proud when he brought him into the station. He's
he felt like he really
Chief,
did something.
Look what I found. It's a black guy, and somebody's dead.
With lots of money.
Can you make the connection,
with lots of money
Chief?
in his wallet.
Oh, look at all that money in his... Black guys can't have that. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Unthinkable in this world. Oh, my God.
But it's so funny because it was like, you're absolutely right. This police department was just like the Three Stooges of all police departments.
They just did not give a crap about
it. Was
anything. It was just like Gillespie was just like, all right, so you did it, right?
Yeah.
How'd you kill him? It was it wasn't, there was no questioning whatsoever. He's like, so what do you do for a living? I'm a cop. Oh. You see him, he deflates instantly. Yeah. It's like, oh, really? Oh, okay. And then they bring
the police officer. Well, the chief thought that guy asked him questions before he brought him in.
Yeah, and we found out he didn't ask him anything. But he was fine with it. He was just like, get out. And then when they bring in the next suspect, he's like, all right, let's pat each other on the back. And,
we found the wallet on him, so
Tibbs
he had to be the murderer.
Yeah, and Tibbs is just like, is he left-handed? Well, he probably didn't do it. And everybody's like, he is left-handed. I noticed that, Chief.
Gee, did you have a favorite scene in this film?
When Virgil tells that woman that her husband's dead.
Why was that your favorite scene?
Because he was very blunt about it, and that was cool.
Oh.
He didn't.
Fair enough.
He didn't like try and soften the blow or anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could sort of appreciate that, and I felt like she also appreciated him. I mean, obviously, this is a movie from 1967 in the South. Obviously, there's certain etiquette in the South.
Well, she wasn't from there, so she obviously did not have the prejudices that these people did. I'm sure there was some level of prejudice there, but not the level that these people had, to the point where when they were outside in the main room and she heard him say, this guy's probably not the guy, and everybody's just like, blah, 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 hamana, hamana. She is like looking around at them and she's like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
Yes, right.
What are you doing?
Right.
I want my husband's murderer found.
Right.
And she didn't give a
and
damn.
Exiled.
Well, brought to justice.
Hang him.
You know, exiled. I don't think you know. I mean, exiled means they let him go and they don't want him to come back.
Or thrown out.
Yeah. But she
kill him.
She didn't care what he looked like. She just knew that of all of these people in law enforcement that I have encountered, this is the only guy that's actually trying to do the job.
Right.
And the funny thing is that he didn't want to.
That was another thing.
When he was initially asked to do it, he's like, nope, no. He doesn't even, there's like zero hesitation in his reply. Can you stay a few extra days? No. He wanted to get the hell out of there. And then once he realized, oh, maybe I can get this big guy down, he's like, he just didn't want to leave.
Right.
And you could see that there was a little bit of prejudice on his part as far as that goes, because the guy he wanted to take down was a bag of shit. I'm sorry. Excuse my language, kids. He was a guy raised on the plantation mentality. He's when he first meets him, he's just like, oh, he's like sort of like marveling at this cultured black man in a suit and tie who talks about flowers. Yeah. And then it just descends like right after he's just like, orchids are like the Negro. They need to be cultivated and whatever.
Oh my God, that speech. It's so cringy. My God.
And then like the double slap scene.
Yeah.
That was just crazy. Like if your predecessor were here, he'd have shot him right.
Oh my God. And even the mayor.
The mayor was like, why didn't you shoot him?
Oh gosh. Did you have a favorite character, G? Virgil was a great character. Sidney Poitier is absolutely magnificent in this. And according to IMDb, did not win Best Actor in a Leading Role because it went to Rod Steiger, who I want to say was more of a supporting character in this.
Yeah.
I feel like Poitier had more lines, more scenes.
This is Poitier's movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Rod Steiger was, I mean, he was a significant role.
You're right, but it wasn't a leading role.
But he wasn't the lead performer in that.
No. And certainly not the lead investigator. My God.
Poitier was dragging his butt along the entire way. And it was just hilarious that every single time he's like, yeah, we got the guy now.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, how did he drive two cars at once?
Yes.
And he's just standing there dumbfounded, like, why didn't I think of that?
Right.
God damn it.
Well, I think another great scene was I guess originally when the Virgil character was going to leave and Gillespie gets to the train and asks him to stay and basically throws that in his face, like, I get the impression you're the kind of man that wants to take a white man down.
Yeah.
Which there might have been some truth to.
Yeah.
But it feels like, I mean, obviously 1967, we are in the South. I'm sure those feelings are hella natural for people of color in this time.
I mean, everybody,
in this place.
Everybody carries a bit of prejudice in them.
Yeah.
It's just that when you're in positions of power. It becomes like full blown racism. And if you see a guy in that spot and they're doing what they're doing, you want to see them pay.
Yeah.
They're basically a symbol of the system that's completely broken. So yeah, why wouldn't you want to take that down?
So I will say that even though I didn't feel like this was Steiger's movie, I guess Steiger's character Gillespie probably has the best story arc. I feel like by the end of the film, he's probably going to still be racist, but I think he has a new appreciation for people of color. I think that he will maybe think twice about judging somebody after this experience with Virgil. And I think by the end, he definitely had a lot of respect and, dare I say, like for Virgil.
I think so, but what's in him is in deep. Because there's the scene where it's funny, he takes a step forward and then he takes a bit of a step back. Because the scene where he invites him to his house and they're just sitting there, he gets mad at Virgil because it seems like Virgil, I don't think Virgil is pitying him. Virgil is just basically saying, we're more similar than you think. We are the same. I've come close to being in a relationship. And he says, well, how does it feel to be that close? And he's like, no different than for you. And Gillespie takes that as pity.
Right.
And he gets mad about that. And I don't think he would have felt that if it was like he was talking to Smalls or something like that.
Woods.
Sorry. Why did I say Smalls?
I don't know.
If he was talking to
Woods. Shagbag.
Or Shagbag.
That was the best name.
Is that a common Southern name?
I don't know, but I love it.
Yeah, if he was speaking to one of those other guys, I don't think he would have gotten as defensive about that sort of comment.
I agree.
And that's basically because it's like, how dare a black man pity me?
Right. Right. And I also feel like in his everyday world, Gillespie probably, well, not only is he the chief, but he is the big dog, right? He is the boss. All these people report to him. And he's probably the smartest out of all those clowns. But now you have Virgil Tibbs here, and obviously Virgil Tibbs is the most dynamic and most intelligent person on this case.
Yeah, I don't even know if you could say he's the smartest. I would just probably say he's the most open to, I guess, learning. Because everybody is dumb, and he is willing to just float upon that ocean of stupidity there. Like he is not willing. He does not really want to go and excel and really solve this case. He wants a scapegoat.
Right. Which is why Sam got swept up in that.
Which is why Sam got swept. As
being like arrested. Because remember when the mayor was talking to him, he was like, just get somebody before Thursday.
Just get somebody. And I mean, he's it's not like he's going to frame somebody, but if somebody looks even remotely guilty, he's just going to dump the whole thing on it because it's the easy thing to do. It's going to make people happy. And another problem that he has is that he is not liked in this town. The people that, especially after the whole incident at the plantation.
Right.
He's that guy who basically runs the town has pretty much said, this guy
won't make it past the week.
He ain't. If it's an election, he ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Gillespie's gonna be losing his job. So like I said, he's not I wouldn't say he might be the smartest one, but that's like saying,
but that's not a big marker. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you're the smartest chicken in the hen house. It's
yeah. It's all relative.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I sort of disagree that he was open to learning. I think that this experience really shaped him because, like you said, I think it always came across like they were just complacent and just okay with doing the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. So if they had gone with their initial gut, Virgil would have been on the hook for this crime. It just happens that Virgil didn't commit the crime, is part of law enforcement, and happens to be the best homicide detective
how is that not him being open?
Well, because I think that this whole experience with Virgil changed Gillespie to the point where at the end, I really got, and again, this is just my interpretation, but when they're saying goodbye, it's not overdone, and Gillespie turns to Tibbs and says, "You take care." And when he says it, he means that. Mm-hmm. He absolutely means that. And I think in the beginning of their relationship, Gillespie did not like Tibbs. Didn't like Tibbs because he was black. Didn't like Tibbs because he made X amount. What was it? $139.39 or whatever.
Yeah.
Per week as a. Oh my goodness, you remembered.
I think.
Yeah, and just is obviously intelligent, well-spoken, presents well, is educated, all these things that Gillespie isn't. So I think in the beginning, it almost pained Gillespie to kind of ask Tibbs for help.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by saying he's more open.
But I don't think he was open at all. I think he became open towards the end.
I think
he actually fought it.
You're not understanding what I mean. If he wasn't open, he would have said, "Screw that. I don't care if you're a cop. You're the guy. You're going to jail."
But even
he's
he
open.
Couldn't do it because obviously the evidence presented.
No. What evidence? He could have still done it. By open, I mean he is willing to believe other things. He could have been a stubborn, super racist cop in the Deep South and just said, "He did it. I don't care if he's a cop. I don't care. He came to my town. That guy is dead. It's him. Done." And do you really think anybody would have been like, "Well, I guess we should investigate further"?
Okay, fair enough. No, you're right.
Woods was like all on board. He was ready to throw him in jail without even asking him a single question. Right. None of those other guys, Shagbag and the doofus that sat behind the desk and didn't want to do anything, they would have just been completely fine. Why do you think he did it? Look at his skin. Right. That was their reasoning.
Right.
Gillespie, once he hears, "Oh, well, he's a cop. Okay, maybe there's something more here. Oh, the guy's left-handed. Maybe there's something else going on here." He could have kept him in the jail cell the entire time. He could have taken the evidence from him. Right. That Tibbs wanted to send to the FBI headquarters. He could have just taken that and just kept him in jail for whatever he wanted. No, he came in and said, "Here, sign this for the mistaken arrest thing." When Woods got arrested, he once again listened to Tibbs. He was open to it. He was 100% willing. Yeah, and I think he was like super proud because it was like that was like the thing that was the investigation that he headed. He was like, I'm gonna ask the guy at the bank.
Yeah.
He basically misinterpreted what Tibbs was doing and came to his own conclusion completely wrong.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying he wasn't the smartest guy. He was open.
Okay. You're right.
He was open to a different point of view.
Yes.
And that's big for that type of character in that scenario in that time period.
Yeah.
Because ignorance is basically just closed-mindedness.
Yeah.
It's what we see nowadays with a lot of people, anti-vaxxers, election fraud guys, flat earthers, whatever. Even when presented with evidence,
really landed on the moon.
Whatever. Even when presented with all facts, even when their own experiments blow up in their faces, like it's seriously hilarious watching flat earthers try and prove that the freaking Earth is flat, and then they do their experiment and the camera was they're in on it, and they made the camera lens bend stuff. It's not really the curvature. It's just like, what? Okay, you're never going to convince people like that. They're just stupid, and they're closed-minded, and that's all they want. Because God forbid they suddenly say, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. They're not like Robert De Niro in Silver Linings Playbook. I don't know. I think I like her now.
That's such a great scene.
That is a great scene because he is like so adamant that she's the bad thing.
She's the bringer of the bad juju.
She's the bringer of the bad juju. She messed up the Eagles juju. But then once she like lays all of the cards on the table, all the facts, she's like, I got to think about this now.
You like her now, Dad?
The only one who was taking that moment to be like, I got to think about this now was Gillespie. Everybody else was just, he's a black guy. Oh, he was running away from us. Yeah. Oh, he has a lot of money in his bank account. Yeah. They were just idiots.
Yeah, and we were born a little bit after this movie was premiered, but it's still very, very jarring. I mean, obviously, racism has been around for a very long time. I'm sure racism will continue to be around for a very long time.
Forever.
But it's still very, very jarring to hear certain things. And one of the things that really took me back was when Gillespie's talking to the mayor, and the mayor was basically like, well, your predecessor would have shot Virgil for smacking the white guy, Endicott. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
and everybody, and the mayor was totally cool
fine with that. Yeah.
It was just that's why didn't you do that? That's what you're supposed to do.
Right. It was just so like that scene really. I must have seen it, but maybe it didn't register. But listening to it now, I don't know. It was just really like I needed a minute after that scene. I was like, wait a minute, what? But this is something that people have to face every day, which is unfortunate. Being wrongly accused of stuff because of the way they look, because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. So even though this movie was from 1967, you could still see a lot of these tragic mistakes happening even in 2022. So in that respect, this movie is kind of a timeless classic because you still have issues of race very rampant. You have not all law enforcement, but some law enforcement operating on prejudices. And
this is stuff that's deeply ingrained. And
yes.
It's going to take for like
probably forever,
decades. Yeah. There's always going to be some level of prejudice.
Sure.
And we just the key is keep an open mind. Seriously, keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Be willing to admit when you're wrong. Be willing to accept new information as it comes in, and don't be so close-minded.
Yeah. So I think there's a really great lesson to be learned here. In honor of Black History Month, we decided to do a movie with a strong black character, which was Virgil Tibbs, played by the late, great Sidney Poitier, who unfortunately passed away last month. So this was a great piece to watch just on all of these fronts. Really tight story, good writing, even though it's 1967, still relevant issues and just a really good watch. If you can watch this with your kids, we saw it as part of TCM's 24-hour salute tribute to Sidney Poitier, but it is also currently playing on HBO Max. I highly recommend this. I'm going to go around the table and get numbers. Gigi, 1 to 10.
Maybe like 7.5.
7.5. What would you give it?
I'd probably give it, like a 7.
What'd you give it, Olive G?
5.
I'm going to give this movie an 8. I think the performances were amazing. Sidney Poitier is just absolutely riveting to watch. Wonderful. Really great. And unfortunately did not get the Oscar for this. Rod Steiger, also a great, great actor. And I think probably had the best story arc because I feel like from where it starts to where it ends, he really comes into his own. And I think the Rod Steiger character is he became a cop for a reason, and I think having Virgil there reminded him of that. So at the end, he has like a newfound respect for Virgil, not only as a black man, but as a fellow law enforcement agent and just human being. They went on this journey together. Hopefully they both learned from each other and hopefully are better people because of the experience. Okay, I guess we'll wrap it up. That's it from us, and we will bid you all a good night. Good night.
Night.
Good night.